بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمد ونصلي على رسول الكريم. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. رب زدني علما ورزقنا فهم ربي يسر ولا تؤثر وتممه بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح يا فتاح يا عليم يا عليم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Today we're going to start to do a bit of the introduction towards understanding and learning Hadith. So in front of me I got some notes from the book Khairul Usul fi Hadith Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So in this notes a few terminologies of a Hadith will be mentioned, and it will be extremely beneficial for all beginners in the field of Hadith to memorize these terminologies before attempting to study and go further in Hadith. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. After realizing the status of a Hadith, the object is to practice upon those that are maqbool, accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and discard those that are mardud, rejected. The subject matter is the Hadith itself, the chains, and the text of a Hadith. So what is the definition of a Hadith, first of all? Hadith refers to those sayings, actions, and approvals that are attributed to Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the Sahaba Ikram ridwanullahi ta'ala anhum ajma'een, and the Tabi'een. Sometimes the word khabar and athar are used, and these are synonyms for the word hadith. Hadith are of two types. One is al-khabrul mutawatir. That is a hadith which is transmitted by such a large group of narrators in such an era that it is impossible to think that they are all conspired in fabricating that hadith. The second type is khabrul wahid. So the first one is khabrul mutawatir. It's impossible. It was narrated by such a large group of people that it would be impossible that all of them could have come together to fabricate that hadith. So that is khabrul mutawatir. Then the second type is khabrul wahid. Khabrul wahid is a hadith whose narrators are not as many as those as khabrul mutawatir. So mutawatir, large amount of narrators, that was impossible for it to be fabricated. And khabrul wahid, that it wasn't such a large amount as khabrul mutawatir. Khabrul wahid, depending on who it is attributed to, there are three types of this hadith. So that is khabrul wahid. Depending who it is attributed to is of three types. The first one is marfu'. Marfu' is that hadith, that text, the saying, actions and approvals that goes up to Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So when you hear that the hadith is marfu', then you know that it went up to Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The second type is mawquf. Mawquf is that one, that hadith, that saying, that action, that approval that goes up to a sahabi radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Then the third one The third one is maqtu. Maqtu. That goes up to the tabi'in. Those were the khabr wahid that was depending on who it is attributed to. Then the second type of a khabr wahid with regards to the number of narrators in the sanad. Mashhur. Yeah, there are also three types. The first one is mashhur. Mashhur, like you can understand from the word mashhur, there is a minimum of at least 3 narrators in each era. Second one, Aziz. Aziz, there are only 2 narrators in each era, and not less than 2. Must be 2. Then the third type is Gharib. There's only one narrator in any era, regardless of the numbers in other eras. So if there's in any single era, there was only one person who narrated that hadith, it will be regarded as Gharib. Even if maybe in the beginning there was 5 narrators, then there was 4 narrators, and then it came to the last era where there was only one narrator, that hadith will be classified as Gharib. Then moving on with Khabrul Wahid, the third type of a Khabr Wahid is with regards concerning the reliability of its narrator. This one has 16 different types. The first one, Sahih lidhatihi. Sahih lidhatihi. So the hadith is Sahih, a hadith whose narrators are adil and they have perfectly sound memories. While a condition is that the chain of narrators is muttasil, continuous, and not mu'allal. Nor must it have any shad. That's the first one. Sahih lidhatihi. The second one, Hasan lidhatihi. That hadith fulfills all the conditions of Sahih lidhatihi, except one or more of the narrator's memory is not as perfect. The third type is da'if. Da'if, a hadith in which any one of the conditions of Sahih lidhatihi and Hasan lidhatihi are not found. Then the fourth type, الصحيح لغيره. That hadith whose sanad in actual fact is Hasan lidhati, but because it is supported by another sanad, just like it gains strength and is now called as-sahih li ghayri. So its sanad is actually Hasan lidhati, but because there's another hadith, that another sanad that supports it, so it now gains extra strength. So it's sahih li ghayri. Number 5, Hasan li ghayrihi. A hadith whose sanad in actual fact is da'if. It would have been classified as da'if, but because it is supported by another weak sanad that is equal to its weakness or stronger, must be equal to in weakness, mustn't be weaker. Equal to in weakness or stronger, then it becomes Hasan li ghayrihi. Inshallah, we'll carry on tomorrow, inshallah.